Sinema ve Ötesi. Hazırlayan ve sunan Şebnem Sarı Önerbay.
Yeni bir haftadan herkese merhaba sevgili Radyo Anatolia dinleyicileri. Ben Şebnem Sarı Önerbay. Bu hafta konuğumuz Hollywood dünyasından bir isim. Amerika'da muhteşem bir Türk, Alex Demir. Kendisiyle sohbetimizi Los Angeles'ta samimi bir restoran ortamında gerçekleştirdik. Alex'le röportajımız İngilizce olacak. Çünkü kendisinin Türkçesi çok kısıtlı. Kariyeri ve bilinmeyenleriyle Alex Demir sizlerle. İyi dinlemeler.
Hello everybody, today we have a special guest in our program, Alex Demir, a Turkish-American Hollywood film star. Hello Alex.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's raining, that's a shock.
Yes, in Los Angeles.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Are you excited about New Year?
Sure, I'm excited about the new year, absolutely. I have some work lined up for next year, so I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Great, great. Okay, tell us about yourself a little bit. Who is Alex Demir?
Who is Alex Demir?
Yes.
Alex Demir is he's a Turkish-American guy. He was born in the Bronx, New York. It's interesting speaking about myself in the third person like this. He grew up in the Bronx, New York, and then his family moved to, do you know Westchester County?
Yes, I do.
It's just north of the city. And that's where he lived for a while, and now he lives here. That's a vague question. What is Alex Demir?
So, becoming a Hollywood star, was it your childhood dream?
I wouldn't say I'm a star
Okay.
by a long shot, but, you know, I've actually made it as a working actor, which is pretty good. I'm happy. And was it my childhood dream? No. No, I never dreamed about being an actor. I never even imagined being an actor. When I was a kid, no one I knew, no one I grew up with, no one even remotely close to me had anything to do with Hollywood or acting or movies or TV. They were just all kind of like normal working people, working class people. I didn't even consider being an actor until I was in my mid-20s. So the answer is no, it was not my childhood dream.
Okay.
No.
And how did your acting career begin? Was it difficult in the beginning?
It will be difficult until the very end, I'm sure. It's always difficult. But how it began for me was, I was a troubled guy. And my father passed away when I was a young kid. And that caused a lot of pain and anguish and heartache and you name it. It just made me not very happy. You know, I had no male figure in my life. And the people I related to and looked up to were, you know, the tough guys in my neighborhood.
Bronx, right?
Yeah, the guys who basically, I don't want to say they were evil people, but, you know, they were the tough guys, and that's who I respected, and that's who I looked up to, and that's who I aspired to be like. And I started getting in a lot of trouble, and it wasn't good, and unfortunately it hurt my mother. Because she was all alone now. It was just my mother, me, and my sister. I have an older sister, Ablam var.
It was really hard for her.
Yeah, it was beyond hard. It was heartbreaking for her. She loses her husband, and she has this son who's become a maniac. Literally, I became a maniac. She couldn't control me, and she's still trying to learn English because they moved here from Turkey.
Oh, okay.
And now she's got this son who's in jail all the time. So
in jail?
Yeah, I was getting arrested pretty regularly. So it wasn't a good thing. Somehow I graduated from high school finally, and then I even got into a college. And I eventually, yeah, I know, it was a miracle. I eventually graduated from college, although I think I was on their plan. They just wanted to get rid of me finally. I think I was in college for about 7 years. Because, you know, I would never go to classes. I would get arrested. Somehow I managed to get a degree. And I got a degree eventually. But then I got a degree and I still had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And to support myself, I was driving a taxi. I was driving a cab in New York. So it's not something that you want to do for the rest of your life. Especially back then, New York was a much different place. It was dangerous, and driving a cab was especially dangerous. Many people I worked with got robbed and had guns put to the back of their heads and all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was doing it. I had a pretty bad incident happen to me while I was driving the cab also. I'm pretty lucky to be alive. Just put it this way, I chased after people who ran out without paying, and I never should have because I was in the wrong neighborhood. So I'm lucky to be alive. But I did learn something. I learned, hey, if someone wants to run out of your cab without paying, so what? Let them go. I don't care now. If I was driving a cab now, if it was an old lady, I wouldn't chase after her. I'd say, go. Good day.
Oh, yeah.
But back then, I thought I was Rambo. I thought I was a tough guy. So I'm going to catch these guys. No, it doesn't work that way in real life.
Yeah.
So I was driving a cab, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was just basically trying to not get into trouble all the time. And there was a friend I knew, a guy named Joey Calaswano. Just, most of my friends were Italian Americans. Mm-hmm. And Joey used to always tell me, I hope somehow Joey hears this because Joey, you saved my life.
Wow.
Joey used to always tell me, you got to take these acting classes. I'm taking acting classes down in Greenwich Village, in the West Village. There was a famous acting school called HP Studios. Mm-hmm. He said, you got to take acting classes. I think, you got a good look. You should give it a try. And I would always say, Joey, I don't know anything about acting. I hardly even really go to movies. I wasn't a big movie fan. He said, no, you give it a try. And he pretty much convinced me because I had nothing else going for me. So I went. I signed up, and back then it was only $7 a class.
$7?
Yeah, at this place in the West Village. It's actually where Al Pacino started taking acting classes.
Wow, that's great.
So when he started, it was probably like $1.50 a class,
Oh.
That's the great thing about New York. You have these opportunities and brilliant classes and brilliant schools with amazing teachers, and they're all just hidden. Mm-hmm. Like if they were in Los Angeles, oh my God, there would be neon signs and so much promotion and PR. And in New York, you go into some building and go down to the basement and walk to the back in a dark room, and Dustin Hoffman might be teaching you a class or something.
Wow.
Yeah. I love New York. So I started taking acting classes. My first acting teacher was a woman named Sandy Dennis. She was an Academy Award-winning actress. She won an Academy Award. She also won a couple of Tony Awards doing Broadway shows. She was very successful and very famous, and she was a wonderful woman, and I was in her class, and she's the one who first told me. She said, you have something special. And
talent?
Yeah, she said you have a natural gift. You have this gift where when you're on stage saying something, I believe you. I believe these are your words, not a script that you memorized. And she said, that's very difficult. You just have it naturally. So if I were you, I would be serious about this. And that was the first time in my life I ever heard from anyone that I was good in something. Legal. That's the first time I ever heard I was good at something.
Wow.
So that inspired me, and I continued to drive a taxi, of course. I had to pay my rent, but I started taking more acting classes, and then studying with other people and other acting teachers. And eventually I got up enough courage to start auditioning for off-Broadway plays, which was a huge, huge thing for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, and by this time, my friend Joey, he had quit taking acting classes.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he quit. 99.9% of people quit. If they find they're not going to be successful at it, or if they have another more stable thing to go into, of course they go into that. I didn't have anything stable. To me, I didn't consider being a taxi driver stable. So I started auditioning for off-Broadway plays, which was scary as hell, but I did it. And I'd say after getting rejected a few times, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 rejections, I got a part in a play. It was huge for me. It was huge because, again, like I said, not only no one in my family, no one I knew was an actor. Nobody I knew. None of my friends' family, none of my friends' family, no one in... To me, being an actor was like saying, I'm going to be an astronaut. I got to go to Mars. It was the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
And now here I was an actor doing an off-Broadway play. So it was very exciting for me. So that was it. And I was on stage. And then
how did they react? You were acting, your family? My
mother didn't understand. Okay. My mother, she's very old-fashioned Turkish, Ne bu oyunculuk iş ne yapıyorsun? Para mı kazanıyorsun? Of course, off-Broadway plays, no, you hardly get paid anything.
Of course.
I still had to drive a cab, but she did come and see me. She came down to the theater. And my sister, some of my friends from the neighborhood, they came down. She was kind of shocked. Shocked and proud. I think she was more shocked the first play, because the first play I was on stage, not completely naked, but almost naked in a couple of scenes, So I was doing it. I was now an actor in New York, working in plays, and slowly but surely, then I would do another play, and I started getting good reviews.
Wow.
You know, like there's a newspaper in New York, the Village Voice. And a couple of the plays that I did, they would review the plays, and even if the play didn't get a good review, they always mentioned me.
Okay.
So they say, there's you know, Alex Demir and did a good job doing this role and that role, and I would always, yeah. So I started realizing, wow, maybe I'm pretty good at this. You know,
Yeah,
maybe,
did it.
yeah, maybe it's time to really, really take this seriously and listen to what people are telling me. And people were telling me, you got to go to Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
You got to go to Los Angeles because you have talent and you have a good look. You should be in front of a camera. You're interesting to watch. I think the camera's going to love you. And so after hearing this for years, it was time to take another challenge. And so I did it. And I left my life in New York. I packed up my car. It was a Chevy. Packed it up and I drove across country and I arrived in Los Angeles.
All the way here. Wow.
And I had one friend in Los Angeles, a Turkish guy, Asaf. And Asaf let me live with him and his wife until I got my own place.
Wow, he helped you.
He helped me. I had a Turkish connection in Los Angeles. We're still friends to this day. He's one of my oldest and dearest friends. I love you, Asaf, if you're listening. And so that's it. That's, you know, I mean, I could go on and on, but that's basically how it started and how I got to Los Angeles and how I started being an actor.
Okay.
And of course, there have been many ups and downs since then, mostly downs.
Yes, I was going to ask you,
yeah.
what were the obstacles?
Well, the number one obstacle, of course, is just the odds. The odds are so stacked against you. I mean, you know what I mean by odds? Like,
Yes, I
it's
do.
literally like you play a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And if you expect to win that ticket, and if you're going to expect to pay your rent or pay your electricity bill or pay your phone bill because I'm going to win the lottery, well, you're an idiot because you're not going to win the lottery.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Almost impossible.
So that's pretty much what the odds are. And so here I was. I didn't have any connections. I didn't know anyone in the industry over here. Again, no friends or family in the business. So that your main obstacle right there, the odds, statistics were against you. And the number two obstacle was I wasn't a young kid. You know, if I was 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 even, you have more of a shot because talent agents and managers, they're interested in young kids because they have a long future and they can play high school kids in TV shows. There's just more of a market. I was already a grown man when I came to Los Angeles because I started late.
Okay.
So I had no connections.
Yeah.
I had no friends in the industry. I didn't have a financial base. You know, I had to work to support myself. I didn't have a trust fund or rich parents supporting me.
Oh.
And on top of that, I wasn't a kid. I was already a full-grown man. So I had a lot of obstacles. So I had many, many, many reasons to quit.
But you didn't.
But I didn't because I'm a bit salak, I guess. You know?
No.
I'm a bit kafadan salak.
Oh, no. I don't think so.
So I didn't quit.
Okay. What is it like to be a Turkish man in Hollywood industry? Have you ever played a role as a Turkish person in any of your movies?
That's an interesting question because I am ethnically, I guess, Turkish by heritage. My parents were born there. However, I don't speak with a foreign accent. Plus, when people look at me, I guess generally because they consider Turks to look, I don't know what they think Turks look like.
Yeah,
Like they
same
will
here.
look like Arabs or something. But when people look at me, they don't say, oh, he's Turkish, because they don't even know any Turkish.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much, everyone thinks I'm Italian. I'm Italian-American. Or, you know, maybe like Greek-American or Spanish-American, but mostly Italian-American. Anyway, there aren't really any roles written in TV shows and movies here that are specifically Turkish people.
Okay.
Unless, you know, like it's a terrorist every 3 years. I'm serious.
I
mean,
hate it.
but that's just the way it is. You know, if you watch any TV show, there's never a Turkish detective.
No,
you know,
never.
or even a Turkish cop, or a Turkish fireman, or a Turkish lawyer, or a Turkish anything.
It's hard to find.
The only time you will see a Turkish character on a show is a terrorist, or a terrorist's wife, or maybe like someone one day on some show there'll be a Turkish diplomat, but they'll have a stereotypical way that Turkish diplomat is supposed to look, and it's generally not positive. It's not a positive stereotype. There are no Turkish roles to play. The only time I played a Turkish role was once, years and years and years ago. There was a show called Alias with Jennifer Garner. There was one role for a Turkish guy. And of course, you know, he wasn't a good guy. He was just like a guy who spoke a few words of Turkish. It can never be a good guy. Every Turk that I knew in Los Angeles auditioned for that part. And of course, they all speak Turkish much better than me. My agent at the time said, just go audition. And I said, come on, all these Turkish people are auditioning. They speak Turkish better. The character is speaking Turkish. I'm never going to get the part. She said, just shut up and go. Just go. If you get the part, it's a lot of money. Just go.
Yes.
So I said, all right. So I went and I auditioned. I got the part.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so I played this Turkish guy on the show Alias. I forgot his name. And other than that, I played a Turkish guy in a movie that a Turkish guy made.
Oh.
It was a Turkish filmmaker, The Anatolian.
Yes.
Yeah. And I played the lead character in that, The Anatolian, Efendi, that was my name. But, that movie never made it anywhere, like most movies, I don't think anyone saw it, maybe
foreign movies, yes.
12 people saw it, maybe.
Oh, no.
And then recently, though, just earlier this year, I did do a Turkish movie in New York.
Great.
But again, that was written and directed and shot by Turkish people.
Okay.
It's called New York Masala, which is New York Fairy Tale, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I did that, but it was just a small part because, again, all the main characters had to speak fluent Turkish.
Okay.
So the director and the writer asked me if I would be in this, and I told them the same thing I tell everyone. Look, I don't speak Turkish enough, well enough. And they said, no, we'll write something specifically for you. It's okay. So I said, all right, why not? So I played a small part in this movie in New York Masala, and that was fun. That's it so far, yeah. Okay. But the rest are all American characters, Italian-American, because I play mostly detectives or gangsters, or lawyers, or not something they consider Turkish roles. And again, there are no Turkish roles here. Okay. Literally, it's look, you watch a movie, watch all the movies you can watch, and all the TV shows you can watch. How many characters are from Bangladesh? None. Well, that's the same with Turkish people. There's no Turkish characters.
You're right. Yeah.
So that's why when Turkish people in Turkey, I would like for them to come out here and give it a shot. But if they expect to play Turkish characters out here, good luck. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's not going to happen unless you're going to write and direct your own movie or something. But Hollywood isn't making roles for Turkish characters. It's understandable because there's so few Turks here.
Yes,
they don't really consider us any kind of what's the word? We're not prevalent in any one specific profession. We're not like Irish American, Italian American, Greek American, Polish American. We're not. So I just basically normally play Americans. Ethnic Americans, just the all-around ethnic American guy.
Okay, just here I want to talk about your role in Young and Reckless. It was a very popular show in Turkey.
Yeah.
Even my mother loved it. I know. You were the only Turkish actor who played in that show. So tell us about it.
Yeah, what's it called in Turkish?
Yalan Rüzgarı.
Yalan Rüzgarı.
Yes.
Okay, that's an interesting story. This was pretty early when I was in Los Angeles, so it was a very lucky break for me. I did an acting class, and there was a guest who came and watched the actors at that class, and I didn't know who she was.
Okay.
But apparently she was a casting director, but I didn't know anyone in this town.
Nice, lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
But there's thousands of casting directors, and there's people who call themselves casting directors, and they really aren't. Anyone can print up a card and say, I'm a producer, I'm a director,
I know, yes.
But anyway, so she watched us do our scenes in class. And I did my scene, and so after class, I was leaving, and she said, can I talk to you for a minute? And I said, yeah, sure. She said, you're really good. How come I don't see you on TV or in the movies? You're really good. And I said, look, how are you going to see me in TVs and the movies? I don't have any connection. And she said, I don't want to hear any excuses. It's up to you. It's your responsibility to get your talent out there. So I said, okay, that's great. So, whatever. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. So, but I heard it before, but this time it was coming from supposedly a casting director. I didn't know who she was. And at the time, I didn't even have representation. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have a manager. So I was like nobody. I had as much chance as that waitress in the next room who brought us pie. I had as much chance as her. Everyone in this town has a picture and a resume.
Yes,
but
they do.
But you got to have representation, and you have to have good representation to even have a chance to audition for real jobs. And at that time, I didn't have representation. So months go by, and then finally, somehow, I got a manager. And this manager is a Hollywood. He was this Russian guy. I'm being represented by him, but nothing's happening. And then one day, he calls me. He says, Alex, you have audition tomorrow, CBS Studios. I said, CBS Studios? What are you kidding me? How do I have an audition at CBS Studios? Why do they even know who I am? Did you get me this audition? You're not powerful enough to get me an audition like this. And he said, you shut up. I said, okay, I'm sorry. Just how did I get this? I said, how did I get this audition at CBS? Some woman, her name is Gail Camacho. She said she see you months ago at acting class.
Wow.
And she find out who is representing you. That's how much she like you, Alex. Amazing. So you go audition tomorrow. So I had to go to CBS, pick up, it's called the sides. It's like the pages that you have to memorize from the scenes that you're going to do. So I went to CBS, I went to the office. Just going in there, I got all nervous. Because you're walking into like CBS Studios where all these shows are done.
Right.
And you're seeing people walking around and you recognize, like, well, I know that person. I know, who is that? I know this person. And so I pick up the things, the sides, the part of the script I need to know. And I bring it home and I just start memorizing it and working on it. And yeah, I was dating a girl at the time who was also like an aspiring actress, so she helped me.
Great.
It really helps. She would play the other part and I would play my part, and so I worked on. So the next day I went to CBS Studios, I went to this audition, and I get there and I'm telling you, there's like 125 guys.
Wow.
All sitting in the hallway, sitting in the casting office, sitting all over the place, just waiting to audition for the same role. And guess what? They all look like James Bond. They're all like 6'3". They're all so friggin' handsome. You know, they got that George Clooney perfect look. And here I am. I feel like Joe Pesci. You know, I just compared to these guys, I feel like a monster. I'm like, what am I doing here?
No.
Well, yes. If you saw these people, they were all perfect.
Okay.
They were like perfect males. I'm just thinking, maybe I should just get the hell out of here. Why am I wasting my time? But I sat there and I found a quiet spot and I tried not to look at anyone because every time I looked at anyone,
Moralin
bozulurdu. Yeah. So I tried not to look at anyone and I just waited and I waited and I waited. Finally, it was my turn after waiting like an hour and a half. And I go into the casting office. So now you're going crazy, you know, like you forgot your lines, you're nervous, your heart is beating, you have to go to the bathroom. You're like, look at all these other guys. What am I doing? Your mind is just completely screwing you, you know? Yeah. But I went in and I said, all right, you know, I got nothing to lose. So I did the audition and I just did it as natural as I could because that's the only thing I know. I didn't have any soap opera technique or, you know, my whole thing is you just be yourself. You just be yourself, and if they think you're right for the role, you're right for the role. If you're not, then so what? You know, there's going to be other times. I mean, that's easy to say, but it's hard to not be nervous because you're thinking to yourself, oh, if I get this, I'm on national TV. I'm going to make this much money. Yeah, it's your mind. Just, you know. After the audition, of course, I'm nervous. I'm still nervous. And I go home, and then, next day, Victor calls me. Alex, they like you. I said, yeah. You have callback tomorrow. You go back tomorrow.
Wow.
Callback means is like, let's say 115 people auditioning for the role.
Okay.
Now they cut it down to like 20.
Okay.
So you have to go back. So you have to go through this hell again.
Oh my God.
And believe me, it's hell.
I think so, yeah.
So I go to CBS, and now there's like 20 other guys there. And these guys are even more handsome than the original guys, you know. And it's like, well, I'm just going to do the same thing I did. I even dressed the same. Okay. I wore the same socks. I didn't change anything, you know. Namaz demesin. I did everything I did that same day. I did the same thing. I drove the same streets. I did the same thing. I tried to park in the same spot.
Oh, wow.
But it was taken, and I was very nervous about that. I wanted that spot badly. I parked as close as I could to that spot.
Okay.
And so I go and I do the callback, and again, you know, like every once in a while, miracles happen.
Yes.
Because he called me that day, like hours later. I see his number, and I pick up the phone. Victor? Alex? I go, yes, Victor? He goes, are you sitting down? I go, yes, Victor, I'm sitting down. He goes, I have something to tell you. Just say it, Victor, just say it. He goes, are you sure? Yes, I'm sitting down. You got part.
Wow.
You got part.
Okay, wow.
So,
amazing
yeah,
news.
It was incredible. Oh, my God. Now that's a miracle.
Yes.
That's literally a miracle. Me, a guy from the Bronx, who has no business being in Hollywood, auditioning for CBS, you know, TV shows, actually getting an audition, and then getting a call back, and then actually getting the part. It is winning the lottery. It's winning the lottery. I think the next day or 2 days later, I went to CBS, and now I'm there, and I have a dressing room. And on the dressing room, it says my name, Alex Demir.
Oh my God.
And I arrive there, and the first thing they say is, Mr. Demir, can we bring you a coffee?
Wow.
This is incredible. And I'm just sitting in my dressing room, just sitting there, feeling everything, touching the chair, saying, is this real? Is this real? I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm going, are you really here? Are you really here? Buriyama. I did it. And it was supposed to be one episode, but then I had a big part in that one episode. And of course, I was, an Italian-American guy, okay, who was a limo driver. I was a limo driver, which was pretty close to what I did in New York. I was a taxi driver in New York, So I did it, and I did it again. I did it just as me. This is me just playing this guy, Joseph, the limo driver. You know, I talk the way I talk. I talk the way I'm talking to you right now. No different. I just be myself. That's my whole thing, be myself. And if it's right for the part, it's right for the part.
Okay.
And that was it. And I did it. I went home and I told Victor. He said he wanted me to let him know how it went. I called him. I said it went well. He found out that it was going to be airing on TV, I think, in 2 weeks. You shoot it and then it airs 2 weeks later or something like that. Before that, we already got the check, and that was incredible. My first check as like a real working actor. And then in 2 weeks, it aired on TV. I watched myself on TV. I told my friends back home. My mother, they all watched it.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, everyone watched me on TV. And then a few days later, Victor calls me. No, not a few days later, like a few weeks later. I thought that was it. That was wonderful. Okay. Wow, I'm on national TV. People saw me. I got paid well. Really, I had a big scene. I had a big role. Well, a few weeks later, he calls me. And this was before the internet, okay? So he calls me up, and he says, Alex. I go, yes, Victor. He goes, are you sitting down? I go, I'm sitting down, Victor. He goes, I have something. Just tell me, Victor. Just tell me. He goes, Alex, CBS gets so much fan letters asking for you. They go on to bring you back for a whole new character. That's winning the Super Bowl, the World Cup, the Champions League, and the Olympics all together. So I ended up being on that show. They created a whole new character for me. I was on The Young and the Restless for about 6 months.
6 months?
6 months.
Wow, great.
And then I found out later on, people in Turkey saw me. Because teyzem, Özgür teyzem var İstanbul'da. She called my mother, and my cousin called my mother and said he watched me. So people in Turkey were now watching me on TV.
Wow.
So that was really, really, really cool. And of course, the money was great. Not only that, but I'm making money doing something I really, really love. Going to CBS studios every day, going to my dressing room, being treated great. It was a wonderful, it's so exciting, and I was so blessed, and I was so grateful, and I still am. For the rest of my life, I will never, ever forget that experience. Never. So there you go. So there's your Young and the Restless Yalan Rüzgar story.
I like it. It's a great story.
It is a great story. It really, really is. It's
amazing.
Because just, again, the odds, the statistics of that ever happening to a guy like me, it's insane. It just doesn't happen. But it happened to me, so,
I like it. Okay. And I know many Turkish film stars want to come to Hollywood. What are your suggestions for them? What should they do? For example, film reels, headshots.
Like I already said, my first thing, make sure they know, if you come to Hollywood, when you have this thick Turkish accent, and if your English isn't that great, but you think, I'll play Turkish roles, there are no Turkish roles.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
you got it already.
Maybe there will be one Turkish role every 8 years, and that's really, really rare.
Okay.
Like I think a couple of years ago, didn't Mel Gibson do a movie, and that Turkish actor was in it? What's his name? Was that Yilmaz Erdogan? No, Russell Crowe, the other Australian guy, Russell Crowe. Yeah. So there you go.
Water Diviner.
The Water Diviner, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, So there you go. There was...
Cem Yilmaz and Yilmaz Erdogan.
Right.
Yes, it was.
So there was one movie...
Yes.
In I don't know how many years...
Yes.
That had a couple of Turkish actors. And of course, the only Turkish actors were already famous in Turkey. So it's not like you're going to come here as a Turkish actor and there's going to be Turkish roles waiting for you. It doesn't happen. I mean, I'm sorry. What we really need here to change that is more Turkish filmmakers. More Turkish writers, directors who are going to say, okay, I want a Turkish person to play this
part.
Teacher. Or I want a Turkish person to play this cop. I want this to be a Turkish role. People can know, hey, guess what? There are Turkish people here who do different things.
Okay.
There are Turkish people here who own businesses. if there's a Turkish role here on a TV show, like we said, it's usually...
Yeah, it is sad.
Yeah, it's just the impression, and unfortunately, the way things are going, it doesn't look like it's going to change because look at what's happening.
Change.
Yeah.
One more question. Do you think you achieved your goals in Hollywood, or where do you see yourself?
I'm very grateful for all that I have achieved. I've already beaten the odds. What I've achieved is pretty miraculous. However, I would like to go much further. I would like to be a guy who the roles come to me. Like, I don't necessarily need to audition for them anymore.
Okay.
And I mean roles in big quality films and TV shows. I mean, I'm offered roles now, but it's usually things that, like independent films. Good luck if anyone's going to see it. Maybe it'll go to a couple of festivals or something, you know. But it would be nice to be in a position where I can pick and choose amongst several offers.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all really, really good offers. Basically money. Let's be honest. You know, I'd like to have a home in Manhattan and a home in Los Angeles. I'd like to be able to make sure that my mother is financially comfortable for the rest of her life. There's a long way to go, and I'm not giving up. I'm not going anywhere. So I think I'm going to achieve a good deal of my goals. I mean, I have a lot more accomplishments to accomplish.
Okay, that's nice. So do you have any messages for Turkey or Turkish people?
Yeah, let's see. Well, I want to stay positive because I decided when I came out here, if I ever become a working actor, which I've become, I will help Turkish people as much as I can. You know, people who are trying to make films, who are trying to make it in the industry any way they can. And I've done that. And even though this is my job and this is how I make a living, I've actually worked for free for different Turkish people to help them to make it. But unfortunately, I've had some really, really negative experiences with them doing that. So I don't want to lecture, and like I said, I want to stay positive, but just realize, you know, just because you come here and like maybe you've taken one class or you have the opportunity to shoot a film because you have a camera, don't all of a sudden think you're Martin Scorsese or something. You got to keep on learning, man. You got to keep on growing. You got to suffer. You got to work hard. It's tough when I see these people, kids, think that that's it. You know, I'm Francis Ford Coppola because I'm making a film, and they don't want to listen to anyone's advice. Even though I've been around this business, you know, for maybe over a decade longer, they no, I'm the new generation. Dude, like, are you kidding me? Like, and that's why they never make it. Like, they come with this attitude because maybe like their small circle of friends have told them, oh, you're this, you're that, which is great to support people, but you have to also be realistic. And so if you just start out, you know, if I started out thinking when I came to Los Angeles, I'm the next Al Pacino, I don't need to learn anymore. I don't need to take acting classes. I don't need to take advice from anybody. I'm Al Pacino. I'm the next... I wouldn't be a working actor now, you know? I would have fallen flat on my face many times and I never get back up. So it's a combination of, like, you got to watch your ego. You know, a lot of ego kills these people, a lot of them. Just be humble. Stay humble. I'm willing to help anyone I can, but, you know, you gotta be humble. You know, don't be arrogant.
Okay.
I don't know what the Turkish word for arrogant is, but arrogant...
Kibirli olma.
Her şeyi biliyorsun ya.
Evet.
I know everything. Well, how do you know everything? Çünkü arkadaşın var ve benim arkadaşım dedi ki çok iyi yapıyor.
You're good.
Like,
Okay.
what are you, crazy? You know, you gotta listen to everyone's advice. It's not just the same in filmmaking. It's the same in any business. It's the same in anything. Just shut up, check your ego, and listen and learn. You got a long way to go if you stick with it. And I guarantee you, like 99.9% of them won't stick with it because of that attitude. But once people in America realize that this person is like that, they're never going to work with that person again. This is America. There's too many talented people out there. There's too many others who want your position. If you're lucky enough to get a part in something or to actually shoot a film, or just check your ego, be humble, be respectful, and listen to people, you know, and work hard. That's all. That's another thing. I forget. I don't want to get all negative, but you know, just do your homework. Work hard. Don't always look for shortcuts. I'm sorry, but something with our people, it's like looking for the shortcut. You're always looking for the shortcut, and
Never happens.
Good luck, buddy. You know, you might have one opportunity And then if that's the way you treat that one opportunity, you will never, ever, ever work again. Never. So I'm sorry. I mean, I'm willing to help people. But when I see this attitude, it's really hurtful. You know, it pains me. And I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to name anybody, but it's just too bad. That's all.
Got it. Yes, great.
That's all.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
And one more last thing. I want to ask you something different this time. What do you think about, females in Hollywood industry? For example, that Jennifer Lawrence case, men get paid more than women. So what is your opinion on that matter? What do you think?
I really don't know. I don't know the details. I don't know the truth. In my opinion, look, they pay people according to what kind of a deal their representation negotiates.
Okay.
Like, I know for a fact, Meryl Streep gets paid more
because she is
than other actors, like male actors, who may be famous, but they're not at her level. So I don't know the truth. I don't know who gets paid. I don't have an opinion because I don't want to atmak istemiyorum. I don't want to lie. I don't want to make up a story.
But what do you see?
I don't check what people get paid. I really don't know what people get paid.
Is it hard to be female in this industry?
I don't have personal experience, but it probably is. It's hard to be a male in this industry. Let's face it. It's just hard to be in this industry. But to be a female, yes, it's hard because, look, for women, it's as they age, as all human beings do. As a woman ages, her marketability drops in Hollywood. Whereas for men, it almost seems like the older they get, more roles open up. That's because of the stories that are written and the shows and the films that are made. I do see that. I don't know about the pay situation. I really don't know. But I do know as a woman gets older, it's tougher. The roles get less and less and less. And they're just judged more harshly on their looks. Also, whereas a man, man could get big and fat, bald.
No problem, huh?
And it's hey, look at him, he's a regular guy, Whereas a woman gets fat, the nasty jokes start coming out, and people can be really mean. I'm sure it is harder for women, although it's very hard for men too.
Do you have any upcoming projects?
I have a few upcoming projects. There's a film that I just shot, a feature film. And here's a perfect example. It's a feature film called Paradise, and it's done by a Chinese production company. Chinese writer, Chinese director, Chinese producers, Chinese investors. It's all in English, though. And all the actors are American, except for one guy, he's a Chinese guy. But these people, they did this film, and it's a feature film. It's not a short film. And it was just as professionally done as The Young and the Restless, for CBS, which was done for tens of millions every day. So what I mean is these people were so efficient, and they worked so hard, and everyone was so talented and so passionate about what they were doing. There was no ego involved. There was no jealousy involved. There was none of that involved. So it was a wonderful experience. But the reason I bring it up is because we have to shoot a few more scenes. So we're going to do that early next year, just to finish that film. So I'm still working on that. It's a feature film called Paradise. And then after that, we'll see. I mean, it looks like I'm going to be doing another feature film, which is called Happy Land. And that's it. So I have 1.5, let's say, projects lined up for early next year. Paradise being half because it's already mostly shot. But the other feature film, Happy Land, that's going to be a big project. I'll be working on that for a few months. And then other than that, you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Do you have any song request?
One of my favorite songs of all time is...
What is it?
Muhtajım. Zeki Müren.
Oh, love Zeki
I love that
Müren.
song.
So that's great. Okay.
Yeah, you going to play that?
Yes,
Right,
yes, yes,
cool.
yes.
Gitme, sana muhtacım, gözümde nursun, başımda tacım, muhtacım. Beni öldür öyle git, yaşamak için senin sevgine muhtacım. Muhtacım gözlerine, muhtacım sözlerine, uzattım ellerimi, muhtacım ellerine. Gitme. Şimdi bomboş eller seni çağırır, yaşlı gözlerim muhtacım. Beni öldür öyle git, yaşamak için senin sevgine muhtacım. Sensiz bir dünyadayım, gerçekten uzak bir rüyadayım muhtacım. Beni sensiz dünyadan, sonsuz rüyadan uyandır da git muhtacım. Muhtacım gözlerine, muhtacım sözlerine, ruhumu ısıtacak sımsıcak nefesine. Gitme. Gitme, sana muhtacım. Gözümde nursun, başımda tacım, muhtacım. Beni öldür öyle git, yaşamak için senin sevgine muhtacım. Gitme, sana muhtacım. Gözümde nursun, başımda tacım, muhtacım. Beni öldür öyle git, yaşamak için senin sevgine muhtacım. Muhtacım gözlerine, muhtacım sözlerine, uzattım ellerimi, muhtacım ellerine. Gitme. Sensiz bir dünyadayım, gerçekten uzak bir rüyadayım. Beni sensiz dünyadan, sonsuz rüyadan uyandır da git muhtacım. Muhtacım gözlerim.
Thanks again for being our guest.
Thank
in
you.
the program.
Thank you. I talked a lot. Good luck.
That was great.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, and have a great evening, and have a great New Year.
İyi geceler.
İyi geceler.
Yeni yılını kutlarım.
Mutlu yıllar.
Mutlu yıllar. Mutlu yıllar. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Bizi dinlediğiniz için teşekkürler. Radyo Anatolia Los Angeles'tan sevgiler. Hoşça kalın.
Şebnem Sarı Önerbay'ın hazırlayıp sunduğu Sinema ve Ötesi programını dinlediniz.